Free agency begins just a few days from now. The NFL draft, a couple of weeks. The offseason is officially underway. From the NFL Scouting Combine in Indianapolis, I'm Dani Sureck alongside General Manager Monti Ossenfort. Monti, 2024, double your win total to 8, competitive within the division. What progressions did you see in year 2 for this staff and front office?
Yeah, Dani, I think we definitely did take a step. We were in a lot of close games. We were playing in competitive games up until Christmas there, and then a couple didn't go our way the second half of the season. But certainly, played a lot of young players again. We're forming a good young core of players to move forward with, along with some key veterans that really produced for us this year. So certainly not happy with the way the season ended, but taking a step back, looking where we came from, a lot to build on, a lot to move forward into 2025 with.
When you have a new front office and a new coaching staff, it takes some time to see the fruits of your labor. 2 years of laying the foundation for this staff. What do you want to see top to bottom in year 3?
Yeah, I think really it's just continue to implement our processes, our structures, and continue to build the team the right way. And I think the experience that we've been given, the younger players on our team, and the chance for them to play and to grow and to build together with the veterans on our team, I think that's going to pay dividends moving forward. So I think continuing to build the right way and continuing to remain in those games competitive, and then finding a way to get on the other side and pulling some of those late games out to put us in a position to push to take another step with our team structure. Last
year's draft, 12 picks, 2 in the first round. You have half of that this year with just 6 picks, the first being at 16. What kind of changes does that make for you and your staff throughout this week getting ready for the draft?
Really, it doesn't change it at all. Our processes that we go through, our scouts go through, the things we do here at the Combine, whether we have 1 pick or 10 picks, it's the same. We have to be ready. You never know what's going to happen in the draft. It's unpredictable. Little bit different situation this year than it's been the last 2 years. We're picking further down in the draft, which hopefully we continue to pick further and further and down. That means good things, but not as predictable about what's going to be available at our first pick. The previous 2 years we were picking at 3, then picking at 4, 16. There's a lot more unknown. So, I think that just that emphasizes the importance of being ready for whatever scenario presents itself. And I know our staff and our coaches and our scouts are all working towards to put us in a good position for that night in April.
The last 2 years, this team has become very young, really focused on player development, getting those players important game reps. You also have a handful of pending free agent veterans. When you're looking at moves that have to be made at some point in the offseason, free agency or draft, what is the philosophy for deciding if you want to go with player development at a position or bring in a veteran?
Yeah, I think in terms of roster building, that's something that it's always going to be both. And you can't rely on one. There's different mechanisms throughout the league year that for roster building, and we just happen to be coming up on 2 of the most important between free agency and the draft. So I think it's a combination of the two, and really how one free agency, our moves in free agency affects what happens in the draft and vice versa. And so those are things that we have to collectively look at and ultimately make the best decisions as we build not only the 2025 Cardinals, but just into the future as well.
There were 2 players on the roster you did not let hit the market. In-season extensions for safety Budda Baker and running back James Conner. Why was it crucial to make sure they didn't hit the free agency market?
Yeah, most importantly is because Budda and JC, they're both good players, and they're even better teammates and program leaders for us. And so for us, a really big step for us in our program, and to see, that they see what we're doing, to see that they buy into what we're doing, and to keep those guys in the mix and have them continue to be productive players for us on the field and great leaders off the field, that was really important for us as a program.
You made it clear at the podium Tuesday to the media that tight end Trey McBride is a priority to keep in this organization, give him an extension. You said there was no set timeline, and he has 1 more year on his contract. How high of a priority is that to get done this year?
Yeah, we're very excited about what Trey has done, what he's going to continue to do. So, similar to JC and Budda, Trey means a lot to us, both on the field and off the field. Walter Payton Man of the Year. His production speaks for itself, and so really excited to keep moving forward with Trey, and that's hopefully something that we can get done at some point.
You've said that when quarterback Kyler Murray is playing at a high level, you can compete with anybody. What do you want to see from that duo to take the next step as individuals and as a pair for that passing game?
Yeah, I think with Kyler and Marv, as with everybody in our our roster as a whole, like everybody's competitive, and the goal is to perform at a high level. And those guys, they want to do it at a high level all the time. And so, I know those guys are working hard. Those guys hooked up on a lot of big plays, a lot of explosive plays, scoring plays, and I know there's more to come. And so I know those two are going to do what it takes, along with the rest of our offense, to make us more explosive, make us more multiple, and continue to put our offense in a position to score points.
Some bad luck with injuries on the defensive line between Justin Jones, Bilal Nichols, and Darius Robinson. Just 15 games combined, not even a full season with the three of them. How much evaluating still has to be done on that defensive line, because you didn't get to see a lot of reps from players you were hoping to rely on last season?
Yeah, that's tough, Dani. I mean, you have the offseason and you build the roster and you construct the roster and you plan on guys that have been in there and to go move forward and be productive for us. And, things happen in the NFL. So it's the worst part about this game is injuries, and you can't predict them and you don't know when they're going to hit, but they're inevitable. And so, for us to continue moving forward, we need those guys to come back and to produce like they have in the past. And, those guys are working hard to do everything they can to get back out on the field. And, we're excited. It was too bad that they couldn't help us as much as we had hoped in 2024, but we know they're doing everything they can to be ready for 2025 as we move forward.
When you say there's different flavors in this draft class for defensive linemen, edge rushers, what kind of flavor are the Cardinals looking for there?
Well, I think when I say flavors, I think those guys come in all shapes and sizes, and they succeed in different ways. And so ultimately the goal at that position is to set the edge in the run game, disrupt the quarterback, and guys do it by different ways. And so some guys do it with power, some guys do it with speed, some guys do it with length. And so, I think us as evaluators and as coaching staff, we have to find the guys that fit best what we are asking them to do at those positions along the defensive line and the outside linebacker position. Luckily, there's a lot of options for us this year, and so that process continues this week as we move through the evaluation process, and it'll continue up until draft night.
I have to ask you this question every year after what we saw from you your first year at the helm in Arizona. What kind of Monti Magic can Cardinals fans expect draft weekend?
Well, it's hard to predict. I mean, it's hard to predict. I think we've shown that we're going to be more than willing to move around the draft board if those opportunities present themselves. We're going to be more than willing to sit and pick a player if nothing does show itself. So, I think we just have to be prepared for any scenario that may come. You never know. Draft night is very unpredictable, and you just got to be on your toes for whatever comes our way.
You never know. Got to be on your toes, Cardinals fans. Monti, appreciate the time. For more coverage from the NFL Scouting Combine, stay locked in on azcardinals.com.